Dear listeners, this week is the Parshas Bo, and we learn in it that the Eternal told Moshe Rabbeinu, Bo el Pare, go to Paro, and because to make sure that Moshe will not be disappointed when Paro will fail to listen to him and will reject his message. So the Eternal told him, go to Paro, Vani aksha esleif Paro, v'lo yishma aleichem. I will harden the heart of Paro, and he will not listen to you. So Moshe knew in advance that when he goes to speak to Paro, Paro will not listen to him. And the question is, of course, how is it possible that God sends Moshe to speak to Paro and tells him lechatchila, right at the beginning, that he will not listen? Which means he has not given him a free choice either to accept the words of God or to reject them. We know that the idea of having a free choice is basic to the total performance of mitzvahs. If a person has no free choice, there's no reason either to reward him for a good deed or to punish him for evil behavior. So how is it possible that the Rebbeinu Shalom has hardened the lave of Paro, and he does not listen to God, and then the Rebbeinu Shalom punishes him for his failure to listen, and it was not his fault, because God forced him not to listen. So how do we explain that? That to us free choice is basic to our life, and here God removed the free choice from him, and then he punishes him for having rejected the word of God. One explanation is found in the Medrash and Mefarshim, that this was a punishment of Paro, because the first 5 times he himself hardened his heart, not because God forced him, and then the other 5 times when God was strengthening his heart, this is a punishment, the result of Paro's bad behavior. He could not listen anymore. But there's another explanation from Rishonim, that God did not at all take away the free choice. But the nature of the situation is that when a person receives one makir, one plague, or one punishment after another, he becomes so weakened that he loses his will, and it's impossible for him to resist. He has no more power. Whatever is asked of him is ready to do, because he has no more power to resist what is requested of him. Then he has no free choice. So when God strengthened the heart of Paro, doesn't mean he removed the free choice. To the contrary, he restored his free choice, because he had a strong character, and on his own he stood against God. So even after the 5 plagues, which normally would have broken him completely, he would have been a totally shattered individual without a will of his own, and would be ready to do whatever is requested of him. So God strengthened his heart, and he was again what he normally was, and then he restored his free choice, and then of course he reverted his normal behavior that is going against the Eternal. And the point is, God did not take away his free choice, but gave him his free choice, and unfortunately for him, he acted according to his own nature and went against the will of God, and brought about the destruction of himself and his whole country. Thank you very much, and have a good Shabbos.